Okay, we're live. My name is Jamie J. I'm the CEO and founder of Bottleneck Distant Assistance. This is Live with Bottleneck, where I get to have conversations with amazing people that are going to help you stop the bottleneck in your business. Before we get started, I'm going to be talking with Dr. Jean today. And she was kind enough to say, you can just call me Jean, but I just think you work so hard to get that little DR in the front of your name. I just feel like I owe it to her. So we're going to be talking with Dr. Jean today, but we'll go ahead and play this amazing little intro our Mike D did for us, our amazing audio and video editor. And we'll go ahead and play this 38 seconds. We'll go ahead and get the show rocking and rolling. So stay tuned. Hello, it's Jamie J, CEO and founder of Bottleneck Distant Assistance. This is Live with Bottleneck, where we come to you live every Tuesday and Thursday at 2 p.m. Central, 3 p.m. Eastern. If you feel like you'd like to get involved in the conversations, by all means, if you're on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, doesn't matter, leave a comment or a question or a suggestion. We'd love to hear your feedback, your questions, your suggestions, anything. I understand it's a little scary sometimes trying to put yourself out there. So if you just want to be there and kind of listen along, by all means, listen along with us. If you feel that you have a question at a later time when you're watching this in a replay, still ask away in the comment section there, and I'll do my best to get that off to Dr. Jean. So with that being said, I want to kind of go into what we're doing today. What the heck is happening on Live with Bottleneck? We're going to be talking with Dr. Jean Latting. She's the president of Leading Consciously. We're going to be talking about, I think is a really cool topic, how to handle people whose work and thinking styles are different from your own. Anybody have a challenge like this before? I have. Some people may call me opinionated. Usually I'm pretty easygoing, but there's sometimes we kind of butt heads there, and it really challenges us to move forward. So why can Dr. Jean help stop the bottleneck in your business? Well, let me tell you. Dr. Jean Latting is president of Leading Consciously, LLC, and a professor emerita at Graduate College of Social Work, GCSW, University of Houston. As a consultant, researcher, and educator, Jean focuses on leadership in multicultural and diverse organizations. This is perfect. We're very diverse here and very multicultural. Hopefully this will resonate with you. Through her organization, Leading Consciously, Jean helps individuals and organizations create resilient, sustainable, multicultural, and diverse settings. Absolutely excited about this topic. So without any further ado, please allow me to introduce you to Dr. Jean. How are you, Dr. Jean?
Hello, Jamie. Glad to be here.
This is so, I can understand why this topic is coming up today. There's so much going on, even outside of the, just in general, is chaos too strong of a word?
No.
In my opinion, it's very chaotic. We're coming off we're on the coattails, hopefully, right in the coattails of COVID and elections, and a lot of that comes into play in the business. And then there's another whole thing you could look at in the business. People have different viewpoints, and I'm a big fan of culture, positive culture. And I would love to hear kind of your viewpoint on the world and what's going on and how we might be able to help each other. But before we do that, I'm wondering if you could tell us a little bit more about you and kind of what you're up to.
Okay, so I'm Jean Latting, as you have announced, and I am president of Leading Consciously, a leadership consulting firm focused on helping organizations create resilient, sustainable, multicultural, inclusive settings. That's a lot of words. Basically, it's leadership with a multicultural lens on it. And multicultural fits in because people who have thinking styles different from your own, a lot of times that involves different cultures. People, they come from a different culture from yourself. I'm also a retired academic from the University of Houston. I'm Professor Emerita from the University of Houston Graduate College of Social Work.
Well, thank you for giving so many people an opportunity to learn the field that they want to go into. That's sometimes a thankless profession, and so we're really blessed to have professors and teachers and educators to help us along the way and help us prepare for the future. So thank you for that.
Yeah, most of us don't go in for thanks.
Yeah. Well, it's nice to hear it. What do most of you go in for? What did you go in for?
I've been a social worker, but most of my life. Once I learned the term for what it was that I was interested in, I jumped right on it. And I've been always interested in making the world a better place, helping people. When I was a child, it was about helping people. As I grew older, it became about making my contribution to the world, helping to improve things, helping us all to get along.
Oh, that's one. My mom was a social worker for the state of California.
Okay.
And, she really enjoyed it. She said there were some challenges, a lot of challenges, but basically being able to be in a position to support someone else that needed some help, she was happy to do it. So very close ties there.
Yeah. Well, your mother was probably what's called a clinical social worker. She focused on individuals, families, small groups.
Yes.
I'm in what's called the macro end. I focus on organizations and communities. I'll leave it at that. So gotcha. leading in organizations, leading in community organizations, business organizations, nonprofits, whatever.
Oh, perfect. Yeah, that's a difference, and thank you for pointing that out. I have a question. What does leading consciously mean to you?
I can't not remember the stat. It's something like 90%, 98%, some ridiculous number of what we do is automatic. I'm automatically sitting up. I'm not consciously telling my body, you need to sit up. So we go through life on automatic to get along with others, to advance the world, to promote racial and social justice, all the things we claim we want. We want, excuse me, my voice suddenly went away.
Oh, no worries.
All the things we claim we want to do requires us not acting naturally. Now, people have a hard time with this. So there's acting authentically, your authentic self, but your authentic self doesn't mean acting on every crazy impulse that comes to your mind. Your authentic self wants to get along with people, wants to be better and all of that. So leading consciously is about consciously choosing to be the person you want to be.
Gotcha. Okay. Little side note. Do you know C. Lee Smith?
C. Lee Smith. No, I don't.
C. Lee Smith. He was somebody that I talked to on Tuesday of this week. As of the time of this recording, it was 2 days ago. And when he saw, because I introduced you on Tuesday for my next call, he's like, "Oh my gosh, that's going to be a great call." So apparently you have some fans out there.
Oh, well, great. Hi, Celie.
So I'm wondering some of the things that you do at Leading Consciously, and it is leadingconsciously.com that people can go and learn more. Is that correct?
Correct. That's correct.
So what are someone in this world is having challenges, either through diversity, different thoughts, different belief systems, it could be, it could go on and on and on. How does someone know, okay, I should probably go talk to Dr. Jean? What's happening and what's their mindset? Where are they when they say, "Oh, I need to go talk to Dr. Jean"?
Where they are is there's really two categories of folks who come to us. One category is the person who says, I just want to do better. I'm doing good, but I know there's more for me. I know I can be a better leader. I know I can be a better champion of change. I know I can step out there more than I am right now. So I'm doing fine. I'm doing fine, but I want to do more. So that's category one. Category two is the person who says, uh-oh, I have run into a roadblock. My organization is not moving the way I want. I'm not getting the referrals that I want. I'm not getting along with my coworkers, my boss, my supervisor, my VP, whomever, my client. I'm not getting along with folks the way I want. So both categories seek us out.
Okay. So, well, that's really good. So if someone says, I'm not getting along with my boss, obviously this is a person, are these more executives that you're talking to, or can it be, an accountant or, a business process agent, something like that?
We have clients from every profession and every industry.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Because leadership is leadership. People are people. And if you have a people problem, you're going to have a people problem in your home, and you're going to have a people problem at work. You're going to have a people problem. And so that's basically what it boils down to.
Gotcha. Okay. So what are some of the biggest challenges you're seeing? And I know, depending on what happens outside of our environment that we're familiar with, there's external challenges that are occurring throughout the world, throughout the nation, throughout local government, politics. There's all this stuff going on. And when I say politics, I mean that externally and internally, both
Right.
in your business and in your personal life. And one reason I do not believe in work-life balance. I believe in life balance. I think there's a big, clear difference between the two. I'd love to get your take on what you believe. And then what are some of the big things right now that you're seeing that people are seeking out your assistance?
Okay, so work-life balance. Most people now, anybody who's listening to this, is probably spending more time at work than at home. So, and work has become for many, or they want it to become, a community unto itself, just like a volunteer organization or a religious organization or what have you. So work is very important to people. And the more engaged you are at work, the harder it is to also be engaged in your home life. And so the balance is how to do both and how to bring your best self to both places. There's no magic formula. The formula I use what I call winces. I pay attention to my winces. If I get a nudge, something's not right, I don't push it aside and say, no, I'm not paying attention to that. I just record it, and then I have time periods where I pay attention and give my nudges full attention so I can figure out what's bothering me and what I need to correct it. So if I'm off balance let's say I'm working and it's 8:00 at night. If I just get a feeling that I need to go be with my husband, I'll act on that feeling. If I get a feeling I need to go call so-and-so, I'll act on that feeling. So I take my nudges very seriously as subliminal messages to me that I'm out of balance on something and I need to do something about that.
Well, that's fantastic. So does WINSA stand for something? I've never heard that term before.
NCE. People feel it differently. My clients, when I ask them, where do you feel it? Some feel it in their throat. I have a client who feels it right here. I feel it in my chest. There's a physical sensation that something's not right. Gosh. And we all get it. I'm sure you know what I'm talking about. Do you know where you get it?
I get it right back here.
There we go.
I can feel it. I can feel it. I kind of gotta, woo.
There we go. Okay. Everybody knows it. And the secret is knowing that when that happens, it's not something to push aside. Your body is giving you a message. that there's something you need to pay attention to. The question is when. If I get a wince right now, I'm not going to jump up and go do something and act on the wince, but I will record it. I won't dismiss it.
And how do you record that?
Sometimes I write it. Sometimes I make mental notes. I have a notebook that I keep with all my stuff where I pour out thoughts. I'll put it there, but I make note of it.
Gotcha. Okay.
And I don't just leave it in my head as something to recirculate.
That makes sense.
I put it, my motto is out of the head onto paper.
Yeah, because otherwise it gets your head space is only so big, right? It starts coming out.
All that junk up, all goggled up inside and everything. You can't figure anything out.
And you know what happens to me when that happens? If I don't do brain dumps, and I do brain dumps daily.
There we go.
Yeah, here's my notes. I have my little notepads there. And that's my way. I like to write it out. Some people like to type it out and be real organized. I'm kind of old school like that. I still like writing. And I feel that if I don't do that, especially after each conversation, I have many conversations a day. So after each conversation, if I don't write out what I'm thinking about, all that stuff starts cramming up. And then I start getting stressed.
That's it exactly. That's it exactly. This is one of my notebooks. This is my main, I don't know if you can see it. This is my main notebook right now. And so I keep, it's right here. I keep it. And so I just put stuff in there. That's it.
You put stuff. I even like, that's the stuff, right? That's the stuff that will relieve all this stress, right?
Yeah.
The worst thing I can do is if I don't get that stuff out, then I start forgetting things. I may not follow up with someone, even though I may not have told them I didn't follow up, but I still want to follow up with them. But if I don't write that down or record it, as you say, then I will remember in a month from now, oh my gosh, I should have followed up with that person 3 weeks ago. And all of a sudden, and it keeps coming back every once in a while when it wants to rear its ugly head because I haven't done what you just described.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's a really good tip. A really good tip. What are some of the things, maybe 2 or 3 of the things that you're dealing with right now that people are having challenges with when it comes to multicultural challenges, diversity challenges? What are 2 or 3 of the things that you see popping up right now? Because I got to be honest with you, you will not see any posting on politics on any of my social media or anything like that. And I go back to politics because so there's such diversity in politics right now, and it's infecting the workplace, or so I hear, because we don't talk about that at our work. We don't bring religion into anything or anything like that because we don't want to offend anybody's beliefs. We're really friendly here. You know, we sing happy birthday to everybody at our meetings when there's a birthdays and stuff like that. But these kind of things seem to me at least seem kind of that's something to not bring up at work. However, we do like to empower people and give people an opportunity to say what they feel and think. And, we want that. We talk about our missteps. We are very vocal. Hey, I messed up on this. I forgot to do this. I am so sorry. What can I do to improve this? And other people will come and support you. Everybody on our team does that. So I guess I wanted to kind of give you a foundation of what I'm feeling right now when I ask that question. What are you dealing with now?
Okay, so I have a different take on what you just said, so we can have a healthy discussion about it, okay?
Yes.
People don't talk about politics because people don't know how to talk about different opinions without getting nasty and ugly.
Exactly.
If you cannot talk about politics, you can't talk to Jane, who didn't get her invoice into you on time and she held up the whole line. Or you can't talk to Jimmy, who promised that he would do such and such, and he didn't do it. And now, since he didn't do it, that means the lease has to stay late. So learning to talk with each other about difficult issues is the overarching thing. We can stay happy, but if we don't know how to talk about difficult topics, then we're going to limit how productive we are.
That makes a lot of sense.
So that's point one. That's one. Secondly, the people of color in your organization are going through hell in a handbasket. I'll just say it. Most are. And if we cannot talk about it, or if we're supposed to not voice our upset, then we're not bringing our full selves to the work. And we're distracted, and we're talking in the bathrooms and in the coffee shops and on the chat. We're talking anyway. The question is whether we're talking in a productive way that can be used to benefit the organization.
Gotcha.
So I have your fear, your concern about disrupting productivity and disrupting the workplace. I totally 100% agree with you. The organizations that I work in all have decided to address this by helping fostering conversation, productive conversation in the work, so people can say, if after George Floyd's murder, for an example, and then something during the impeachment trials, I was no good. And I wasn't alone. All over the country, people no good. So meanwhile, we're supposed to show up at work. We can't say, this whole thing's got me so rattled. Just saying that, just like you do the brain dump, just being able to say that releases that tension. And somebody else say, yeah, girl, I understand. And then we go to work. But if I can't say it, if I'm suppressing it, what is that going to do? My mind's going to be half here, half there, half here, half there.
Anxiety is going to set in. Productivity is going to drop off.
Right.
Trust is going to drop off. And if you don't trust somebody, you're definitely not going to be working to your full potential.
You got it. So the challenge is how to help people learn how to talk about it. So I'm not going to name clients, but I'm going to just give you a sample of what we're working on. I'm working with an organization. We did a diversity, inclusion, equity, and inclusion survey. A small group is meeting together to look at the results of the survey and to form recommendations. I'm providing guidance to them for that. They're going to present it to the leader. And then the leader I've been talking with the leader, and the leader is all prepped to figure out the recommendations that can be implemented, explain why some cannot, and get it done and roll it out. This organization is about 20%, 30% people of color. And so not talking about race in an organization that serves multicultural clients, not talking about that is out of the question. The question is how to make that conversation work and how to improve the inclusiveness of the organization. Since their clients are multicultural, they need to know how to reach these different clients who have different orientations, and they need to know how to talk among themselves about it without feeling like they're the political correctness police are going to come get them, or that they are offending somebody. Those are the two extremes.
So those last two things that you said, that is my number one fear. My fear of being politically correct.
Right.
My fear that my beliefs would upset someone to the point where they are literally upset and will raise their voice because they don't think I'm hearing them.
Right. That's it.
That's the reason I try to get that out there. And so you're right. That number one question, how do we address this issue with our team? Now, keep in mind, here in the U.S., it's me and my wife and one other person in Florida.
Sure.
My team is in other countries.
Yeah.
So they're in the Philippines and Central America. And then our clients are kind of in the U.S., but all in 8 different countries as well.
Right.
So we boy, doggone, we get along good. We really, honestly, our family family. Someone said, "Don't call your team a family" the other day, and I said, "Oh, I totally disagree with him." However, I won't mention names, but he founded a company that rhymes with tack. But I haven't had any challenges like that yet. I'll say yet, because we do get along so well. We talk openly. We're good friends. And we socialize. Even though it's remote socialization, we still socialize in some way, shape, or form. Heck, we have 1 meeting a week where we don't talk about any business at all, pretty much. It's just, hey, how's your personal life going? How's everything going?
What's that
going on? And that's the kind of people that we surround ourselves with. So we've been very fortunate that we haven't had that. However, at some point in time, I think it's nearly impossible. I would call it highly improbable that would not happen. So
Okay.
What do I do to address that?
So I would suggest that you check with them and see if there's an issue.
Simply by asking. Is this a one-off or in a group environment?
Before you ask, you got to be ready for it. So what you're working up to is the ability to ask and receive what might come forward. They will not tell you.
No.
If they don't sense a willingness for you to hear. I can't tell you how split off people of color are, trans are, GBLTs, QIs, how we go to work and we bring that persona and this other persona we leave behind. And so when little comments happen, I'll give you an example. I was talking with a client and I referred her to a website. And this is last night. I referred to the website. I said, look, they have some racist stuff up there. Just ignore that because they really have good stuff. But when you come across the racist stuff, don't pay any attention to that. Just get what they have to offer. So that's the mentality. I'm in this world. I'll act according to the way the culture is set up. This culture says we're a family. We don't discuss bad things. We don't discuss politics. So I won't bring that part of me to the table. I have other venues for that. If I see something happening that disturbs me, if a comment is made, I won't bring it up. I'll just swallow it.
Oh, see, now that's where I would say no way. If they feel uncomfortable about a comment or anything like that, I would back them up 150% for them to bring up what's bothering them so we could get that out in the open. Absolutely.
Okay, so what I'm saying is the organizations that I know about, that goes on. I can't say it goes on in your organization, but the organizations that I know about, that goes on all the time. And when people learn how to talk about that, then work flies.
I agree. And in a perfect world, it'd be so nice to have that. And what you said is that people get upset. How do we have a conversation? Like it's strange. It's almost like we're taking something else that's outside of our control personal.
We are.
And I guess rightfully so. It should be a belief system, right? But how can we go through that without yelling at each other and say, you know what, I understand and I agree to disagree with you on that. But how do we move forward from that point?
Okay, so I have to back up a minute. You said we're taking things out of our control personally. Most people of color, most Black people, most people I'm going to, my Indian friends, we were raised with a strong cultural mandate and understanding of our heritage. So it is personal. And I don't know if you are a sports fan. Are you a sports fan?
Somewhat. Hockey.
Name your favorite team.
Washington Capitals.
Okay, Washington who?
Capitals.
Washington Capitals. Okay, when they lose, does it hurt?
Yeah.
Okay, that's the feeling.
Yes.
When you hear somebody trash them, if you heard someone trash them on the radio and talk about how sorry your favorite player is, does that hurt?
Yes.
Okay, that's the feeling.
Right.
You can do nothing about Washington Capitals. That doesn't stop it from hurting when bad things happen to them.
Right. What you can do is the actions that, even though you're hurting, the actions that you put back out into the world are positive in nature.
Yes. And so the climate, okay, let's connect the dots between trashing the Washington Capitol, George Floyd's murder, and somebody making a comment at work. And people going to be offended. I said George Floyd's murder. I'm not trying to equate the extent of the pain. I'm equating that there is pain. So how do you talk about that with people who don't take it personally like you do? First of all, you can connect, Jamie. If you hear someone talk about something that happened out in the world politically that upset them, you can say, I don't get why that would upset you. There's nothing you can do about it, but I can get that I'm upset when Washington Capitals get trashed. So I can take my pain and use my pain to have a glimmer of an understanding of your pain.
Some empathy.
Right. So that's called empathy. So I'm not looking at you upset and worked up and saying, how in the world could you be so upset and worked up over something like that? That's silly. Yeah. I'm not doing that.
That's how you start the combativeness, when you start making accusations on that person.
Right. Okay. So I can relate to the pain. I can also know that if I trash or discount another person's pain, I'm putting it out there that people have the right to judge other people's pain. And I don't want to live in the world where people have the right to judge people's pain. Judge actions, yes. If you say something mean, I might not like that action. And I want to tell you, no, you cannot talk to me that way. No, this doesn't work for me. So judging actions is one thing, but the pain that led them to say this mean thing, I can relate to their pain, their state of being in pain, even if I don't understand it, because I understand pain. And I understand that specific because I understand pain. And I can relate to, and I can still want to hold them accountable for bad actions.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense? People equate, if I understand you, that means I can't hold you accountable. No, that's not so.
Oh, you can understand somebody very well and still very well hold them accountable, in my opinion.
Right.
It totally makes sense to me. And what's nice about this is we can have a discussion about this. I'm not feeling heated. You don't look like you're feeling heated. But there's a lot of people that let these emotions overcome,
right,
and they lash out.
Right.
And I'll give you an example. I live in Springfield, Missouri, and we were the last county in the state of Missouri to lift the mask mandate. You can imagine the politics involved in it. And what does this have to do with business? I'll get to it in a second if you want me to. But
everything to do with business.
I put I was really happy when they did this. It's very rural here. You know, it's not a big city. I think it's 150,000 population here, but we're spread out. And so we had 26, 22 cases of COVID of people in the hospital. Very, very little in this area of Greene County, which is like, I want to say almost 400,000 people or something like that. It's not huge. And if you do the math, it's like 4 zeros after a decimal point before the first number comes up. It was very low. So anyways, the city said, they voted on it and said, yes, we're going to lift the mask mandate. And I just posted on the city site, on their they're on the Facebook, you know, and I said, I'm so glad to see this happening. And it's nice to kind of get that feeling, hey, we're moving into summer. Things are kind of going back to normal. And, you know, it's just fantastic. And then I got all these people saying like, yes, I can't wait. This is going to be fun. And then one person came on and said, if we would have implemented the mask mandate months earlier, people would have been safer. And I said, and then he goes, I'm still wearing my mask. Everybody else should still wear their mask. And then I simply responded with, thank you so much for your opinion. I appreciate it. And for you to wear your mask, I'm all for it because I want you to feel safe. I'm blessed that I grew up here in a place where we can make our own decisions. And I'm just really excited about being able to do the activities that I want to do without a mask. But by all means, if you feel safer wearing a mask, please wear a mask. Nothing came back after that except for a bunch of likes and this and that and that, because I didn't want to stir consultation. I simply acknowledged their point of view. And even though I agreed to disagree with their point of view, I felt good about that. And I thought, man, maybe that was a positive exchange because they didn't come back with some evil things, you know?
So, Jamie, you asked me what should be done. You just did it. You did it. You pulled it off. You were able to voice your opinion. You were able to respect the other person's opinion. You were able to acknowledge their concern and not discount their concern. If you want, I want you to be safe. If you want to feel safe with a mask, go right ahead. You acknowledge, you validated them. You wanted the magic formula. You delivered it.
Yeah, it's okay. Well, then, yeah, I guess I didn't even really realize that.
Yeah. Now, the question is, this was all online, but the question now is, what if somebody is so upset and so worked up? Then what do you do?
But I've been trained to walk away. So, well, before violence.
Yeah, well, yes, before violence, absolutely. But what you did, if your employees were your family members were trained in how to do that this is, and they knew that this is how you want to be, more stuff would be revealed. You as CEO set the requirement. We can voice difficult things, but we cannot insult each other, and we cannot take away and discount anybody's pain. You set up the guidelines and you set up the rules of how people should function. And if someone makes a comment, I'm going back to your statement. If someone makes a comment that I find offensive, others find offensive, I want you to find a way to voice it in a way that I call it calls the person into community, not calls them out. Oh, John, how dare you say such a thing? That was stupid. You don't call them out, you call them in. We're a family here. Someone says something that you find a problem. We don't want that to happen. We're a family. Please let them know in a way that respects their ability to grow and learn.
I am such a fan of that. I just wrote it down. Calls a person into community.
Right.
That's genius.
Yeah. Don't let them sit out there all dumb and ignorant, offending people right and left day after day, and nobody knows it.
First of all, that would be addressed that second. It's not that is something during a meeting. If something like that came up, that wouldn't be a nudge for me to attend to later. I would bring that up right then and there.
But you wouldn't know it. I mean, you would know some obvious stuff. If someone used the N word, you would recognize it. But there's a lot of subtle stuff that goes on that you may not be aware.
Well, if someone rolls their eyes, if someone, giggles, if someone does something a little like that, we've talked about this in previous meetings. This is a big reason why we established, we put so much focus on vulnerability.
You do?
Oh my gosh. Every single person, when they talk about our meetings, different department meetings and in our company meeting, we talk about, okay, what accountability, and the next thing is, what do we have coming up next week that we need to accomplish? And the third thing is the missteps. These are the things that I failed to do, or this was something I dropped the ball on, or I didn't do this, or my mom was sick and I wasn't able to do this. And I didn't know how powerful that was until we first started implementing this about, I don't know, maybe a year ago now. When we first started implementing it, someone said something that they weren't able to accomplish something and they said, I'm sorry, I just didn't do it. And I know I told you I would do it. I just didn't do it. All of a sudden we had, you have the little chat box on the side of Zoom and stuff. You have other people on the team saying, I've got extra time. How can I help you out with this?
Wow.
Blew my mind. And I was like, oh my gosh. I literally almost cried. I can remember the day because I was like, that is so freaking powerful. And that's what bringing us even closer. I wish so many more people would do that.
Okay, so Jamie, when you first said we're family here and nobody has any of these issues, I was skeptical because I heard so many CEOs make that claim, so many leaders make that claim. When I know behind the scenes what's going on, you're starting to convince me that maybe you might be one of those who has managed to pull it off.
Yeah, you are welcome to attend any of our meetings at any time. I would love to have you meet our team, and I won't even show up. You can just talk to them. That would be amazing. But this is what I hope for so many more people.
Yes.
There's a completely different culture in the Philippines than there is here, and I respect the living daylights out of what they do. And one of the biggest challenges we have is the clients that choose to work with us. It's difficult sometimes because we have to make sure that they understand what our core values are and our belief systems are here and how we operate with it's the most pro-American country, I think, in the world as far as English speaking and idealism and things like that. But there's still nuances that are different and maybe uncomfortable. And that's one of the hardest things to kind of pull together. Because if we bring on a client who doesn't understand, and they're do this and do that and do that, that's not us. We're not that speed. You come to us because you want to hire a personal assistant. But that hiring a personal assistant, they have to learn, hey, you need to empower that person and be kind to them. And our word of the year is kindness, Dr. Jean. And that means kindness illuminates natural decency by creating neoteric energy with selfless statements.
Whoa, you got this down pat. Say that again.
Kindness illuminates, that's our word of the year, kindness. Kindness illuminates natural decency by creating neoteric, meaning the first, energy with selfless statements. My word of the year last year was listen intentfully and soulfully to engage notably. And my word of the year before that was focus, finding opportunities by creating uninterrupted strategy sessions. So we take each one of these words, and that's our focal point for that year. And it's done throughout the entire organization, and we try to pass that on to our clientele too.
So how do you deal with the clients who show up and they're used to doing do you onboard your clients?
We have a special 90-day implementation process where we actually work with them hand in hand for the first 90 days. So we teach them. I've been fortunate enough to hire over 1,000 people. Somebody said that's unfortunate, but I've hired a lot of people. And so what we're able to do is kind of bestow upon them the lessons that we've learned. And we kind of help to transition them into a really good delegator. At the same time, kind of the underlying tone of that introduction for the 90-day implementation process, establishing positive company culture. And you can establish that even if you don't have any employees. You can establish that through your vendors, through your clients. But as you bring people on board, you want to make sure that they share a similar core belief system, whatever that may be, because that's going to be the people that you're going to be attracting and working with the best. Now, just because we share a similar belief system, can we have disagreements? Heck yeah, we can have disagreements. But the beautiful part about that is we both understand the vision of where we want to get to. And there may be different routes. Someone may be more experienced in this or like this, and maybe shoot that down. I have a bunch of ideas. Our staff, our team has a bunch of ideas. Do we select all of them? No. We'll work together and choose the best one because we all know we have a vision we want to achieve. And I need to make sure that our clients understand that as well. So that's extremely difficult if you don't have a strong vision, a mission, core values, tone, voice.
Yeah. So what about the people, not the people, the contractors that you're hiring, but the people that you're farming them out to? How do you work with them?
Yes. It was called a 90-day implementation.
Oh, that's the 90 days for your clients. Okay.
That's to get them up. Now that works with our assistants, but that's specifically for our clients. And we help them get ready to hire. We help them identify the high priority tasks. We do it in 3 phases so that we kind of bring them along. By the end of that 90 days, they're pretty much rocking and rolling. And so on day 91, we give them their workflow manual with all of their workflows step-by-step out so that they know that our assistant understands exactly what it is that they want them to do for them. And they have the confidence to say, just like we were talking about brain dump, we can dump all that stuff knowing, oh, what a relief. This person, I can totally trust this person now because they've proven to me exactly what it is that I had in my head is now out and they can do. So now I can focus on growth. I can focus on multicultural advancements within the organization, dealing with those processes and not having to worry about the mundane details that oftentimes bog us down. So yeah, we try to help them establish culture. I'm a big fan of Peter Drucker. When he wrote that book, Culture Eats Strategy for Breakfast, right. I used to have a podcast, Culture Eats Strategy. I love it. I love it. And so whatever I can do to continue that on. And so you think I was just maybe making it up when we first came on. I said, I'm really excited.
No, I just thought you were possibly oblivious.
Oh, I absolutely love this conversation. And I think it's so powerful. I want to shout it from the rooftops. Go talk to Dr. Jean, because if we can get more people talking productively about disagreements, it's, one of my topics 2 weeks ago with my wife, we do it every Friday. It was, isn't life beautiful? Richard Branson said that, and that's his grandfather said that to him. He said, Richard, isn't life beautiful? And that totally changed his whole life. And I think, oh my gosh, if you look at it from that perspective, life is beautiful. Are there differences? Yes. But why do we need to go the negative route? Why can't we stay positive and kind of work through this together? And if we ultimately have different belief systems, that's our right. That's us as human beings. Let's embrace it and hold each other up.
You got it. I don't know how, I'm fascinated. I don't know how you came to be and to understand what you're telling me. But I would say that a whole lot of people have not learned it. And it's an ideal that they think is hard for them. What I hear people say is, you don't know the jerk I'm working with. You don't know how bad my mother was, how mean my mother was. You don't know how my boss is. You don't know this, so-and-so is just lazy. I'm working with a lazy coworker and she's getting ahead of me. and she's getting all the accolades, and I'm doing her dirty work and nobody is recognizing me. So what you're talking about, the culture you're talking about, a lot of people don't experience that.
I wish they could.
Yes.
My
life's work is for them too.
Oh, well, people, I've had people on my team that have been offered more money to go somewhere else, and they've chosen to stay here. Just because it's not all about money, it's about life balance.
Yes. Yep. And the trick is, I think it's wonderful that you have set that framework. You truly have, the description you're giving me, again, I always hold a little reservoir of doubt because I've talked to so many leaders who were glowing about everything, and then I talk to the folks working for them and I get a different story.
Yeah, I bet.
But you truly are making the right strides towards setting up the culture you want, and you're realizing the benefits of that. And I think that's wonderful.
Well, and I wanted to show you, this is my wife here. She chimed in and she says, we have an amazing team. I love this. So she loves our conversation. I work with her. So she works here with me at Bottleneck. And so I thought it was neat that she was listening to this, because she doesn't watch many of these. So that's pretty powerful.
Well, congratulations to both of you. And I know, I believe in my bones that you could not do what you do without the amazing support from your wife.
Oh, she's everything.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I believe that.
Yeah. Well, doggone it, you got me a little teary-eyed saying that. I didn't mean to do that.
Oh, that's wonderful. No, hang on. Okay. The teary-eyedness that you got.
Yeah.
If we had more of that in the workplace, we would have the culture. The fact that you could go teary-eyed about your wife and talk about the family and the culture you believe. If we had more, that's the goal. That's the goal, to be in a place where that's what happens. And people say, oh, I love it so much, I don't want to go over here for more money and more headache. So I'll stay where I am. Thank you. So that's the goal. And I want to reiterate, I believe that to the extent that you have what you have been able to cultivate what I call it strength focused. You have been able to be strength focused with the people you work with, so that they can capitalize on what they're good at. And they know, and what I still want to hear, I'm not sure about, in your organization, you didn't ask me to diagnose your organization, but my head goes there. We're having a great conversation.
But it's a good example.
Yeah. What I'm not clear about is what problems or issues people don't want to bring up because they don't want to break up all the happy.
Yeah, that's a good question. And I will tell you, after the first 6 months, when someone comes on board, they write their own role and responsibilities.
Wow.
And then every year after, they rewrite them, because the roles and responsibilities as we grow change. So that's something that they do. And what's nice about that too, it empowers them. They're ready, to take this on, because they've created this. And I just think it's fantastic. So if I hire somebody for this, but they actually start showing signs that they're a little bit better over here, we'll change their role. It's whatever's best for them. That makes them the happiest, most productive, and enjoys their life. And then that being said too, one thing that I think people are a little afraid of are on our external team more or less than the internal team. So the internal team knows me a little bit better. They are afraid to bring up things. They'll bring things up to maybe our recruitment manager, but they look at me like, look at this guy with a beard and he's the boss man. And boy, I don't want to. And so I do get that from the external team. And that's why we continue to have monthly meetings with everybody, to try and just get them to know me a little bit, get familiar with me. And then we also say, we literally have, even though we're remote, open door at bottleneck.online, where you can email and hey, if you have challenges, if something's bugging you, I won't see who it is. My recruitment manager will. I won't see who it is, but my recruitment manager will tell me, and we'll do whatever we can to address the situation. So we do have that, and I think that's about as close as we can get remotely.
Yes. Okay, so I want to give you the word for what you do with having people write their job descriptions.
Okay.
That's called participatory democracy.
Participatory.
And two people founded the concept, Emery's, and it's built on somebody else's theory about what it takes for people to be motivated in their jobs. And
I didn't even know that.
Yes, and I'm just really impressed. And we have a technology which we've used in just a couple of organizations to change them from a top down. When it's very top down, the leader takes stuff on their own for themselves that somebody else could aspire for and be trained in, right? And so the workflow, the responsibility stays top heavy. What you're doing is you're giving people an opportunity. It's a bottom up philosophy of developing a job description. So people from the bottom up said, I'm ready for this challenge. And then that frees this person up here to not do that, which then frees this person up. And so that means people can work at their level. But what happens in many organizations is the supervisors work at the level of the VPs work at the level of the directors work at the level of the the managers work at the level. Everybody works down because they are developing the job from top down. When you develop the job from bottom up, what are you ready for and what do you want to grow into? Then people have a growth path and people get freed up on the top to do jobs at their level.
Yes, I love that. I think it's fantastic. And it's just like saying too, last thing, because I know we're coming up on the hour, so I want to be mindful of your time. But so we have an org chart here because we have to have organizational structure and processes, systems like that. But everybody, as far as I'm concerned, and as far as everybody else concerned, is on a flat line. We're all equal. And I think that bodes well. And I've actually said that in meetings, letting everybody know your voice matters just as much as anybody else's. And that helps to promote this vulnerability. It's okay to be vulnerable. It's okay to come up with an idea that may not be popular, but you won't see I can pretty much say you will not see somebody roll their eyes or giggle under their breath or anything like that. And I wish so many more people could experience an environment like that, because it keeps my wife and I just motivated and coming back every day, to take on the next challenge. And we feel good because our team is along for the ride. And I'll say one thing before we leave, and then I'll let you wrap up. And my mother passed away a year ago in March, and I absolutely love my mom. Very close to her. Knew her all my life, right? And in January, I got the call saying I needed to go to California. I'm in Missouri, 1,500 miles away. So I went and I told my assistant. I do stand corrected. Sarah says that they roll their eyes at my dad jokes. I do dad jokes. And so I ended up calling my assistant. I said, hey, I don't know what's happening. I'm going to have to be here. I'm going to be disconnected from the business. And before I even finished, she said, Jamie, don't worry about it. We got your back. Go take care of your mom. And I was like, oh, another teary moment, right? And so I ended up being there for probably the first 6-7 weeks.
Wow.
Out of the first 3 months of the year. And and then I'd say, I have to go back here. I got to do some work. And then I'd have to call her again and say, I got to go back. Because the doctor said, when are you coming out? And I said, well, I had to come back to work. I'll be there in 2 weeks. He said, you better come back now. So I went back now and let her know. Well, she said, don't worry about it. Everybody stepped up in the company. I wasn't there. Sarah wasn't there because she was with me, supporting me at that time, and my mom. And I came back to a company that was stronger than when I left.
Oh, that's such a beautiful story.
It was amazing. It was
That's
absolutely amazing.
That's
Uh,
beautiful. I want to say what Sarah also said. Sarah said, I am impressed by this man every day.
oh,
And that was in response to my saying I was impressed with you. So y'all got something going. Y'all got something going.
yeah, she's amazing. I love the heck out of her. So, out of respect for your time, how does someone reach out to you? How do they get in touch with you? I'd love to share that.
Jean Latting at leadingconsciously.com or info@leadingconsciously.com. Just go to our website, leadingconsciously.com, and check out Pathfinders, our membership program for leading social and racial justice. And check out my blog. I forgot that. Check out my blog. If you go to the website, you'll see it. We're coming up on our anniversary issue. We've been doing it for a year now.
Yay! Congratulations.
Yes, we made it through.
Can you tell me a little bit about your book?
About the book?
Yeah.
Yeah, the book was developed by my coworker and I on how to bring people together and initiate change, build effective relationships and initiate change. It's called Reframing Change. And we have a training program that's based on that. We offer it online now, but we have delivered it face to face. So we have that. We have the training program that's built on the book, and we have Pathfinders, our membership program.
Fantastic. Dr. Jean, thank you.
Thank you kindly.
Is there anything
else you'd like to say? Enjoyed it.
Yeah, so did I. I got to learn so much. Is there anything else you'd like to say before we wrap?
That for those of you who think it's not possible for you, I want you to know that it's possible, but you have to be persistent.
Oh, that's beautiful. I absolutely love it. Dr. Jean, do you have just a moment to hold on? And I'll go ahead and wrap up as quick as possible.
Surely.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I hope you got as much out of this as I did. Dr. Jean is absolutely incredible. I highly encourage you to go visit and learn more about her at leadingconsciously.com. Go check out that you're coming up the 1-year anniversary for the blog. Congratulations to them. Look for her book, Reframing Change. It's how to deal with workplace dynamics, influencing others, and bringing people together to initiate positive change. That's pretty much what we talked about. I know I was kind of selfish today. I brought up a lot about it, but I hope you can kind of draw some similarities or some parallels as to what may or may not be occurring, what you may or may not be doing in your own business, in your own personal life. I think the more knowledge we have, the more opportunity we have to embrace others, the better off we're going to be. To be a good human being, it's amazing what happens when you surround yourself with kind people, kind organizations, kind vendors, kind clients, and have great conversations like with Dr. Jean. So reach out to Dr. Jean, leadingconsciously.com. You can email her at jeanlatting@leadingconsciously.com. She's on LinkedIn, she's on Facebook, and she's on Twitter. She's everywhere. So go check her out. With that, I'll come in. I'll say we launched Bottleneck Television. You can go see videos just like this one today, and hundreds more that we've done. You can even see funny videos like the one we did where we got custom-made shoes for Bottleneck, little things like that. I am writing a book. No, this is not the cover, but we're no longer doing the Indiegogo campaign. The Indiegogo campaign was a success, so we are moving forward. The book will be published in September. It's called Quit Repeating Yourself, Build Sustainable Growth and Positive Culture into Your Business Model, including culture, leadership, systems, processes, and the final two, recruiting and hiring, of course. You'll learn a lot, and our foreword was written by the wonderful Chris Lockhead. Coming soon to your earbuds, Suicide Prevention, Frank King, suicide prevention speaker of mental health comedian. This is happening Tuesday, June 8th at 2 p.m. Central, 3 p.m. Eastern. This is going to be an incredible episode, much like today with Dr. Jean. So thank you so much for joining us. And remember, create your own ripple, and you'll be amazed at what happens.